Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Skagit Storytellers. Sorry, I keep watching the door. I told my daughter she should come in and surprise me during this recording. Just waiting for her to scare me. She got a screaming mandrake figurine thing, and she's been like just pulling it up, and it screams. She's been pulling it up and freaking me out lately, so I'm just watching the door as I talk. Okay, this episode of the podcast is number 48. It's part 1 of 2, I think. I think it's going to be part 1 of 2. For Clay's 40th birthday, we recorded with 4 of us. So Charlie, Wes, Clay, and Cody. We recorded a 3-hour podcast, and it was fun and silly, and it's kind of offensive. So nothing we say is true. Don't listen to it if you're easily offended. It was really fun. I enjoyed it, and I appreciate the guys trusting me by putting it out. Okay, so the next one should come out next week, I believe. So this Saturday, today's Saturday, is part 1, and then next Saturday should be part 2. I'm trying to do musician podcast release on Saturday, and then non-musicians on Wednesdays. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so it's Saturday, December 30th. You still have time to figure out your New Year's Eve plans. I've mentioned this before, but I have 2 recommendations. One of them is the Lincoln Theater. Lazy Acres is opening for Eden. That's Savannah Woods Band. They're playing at the Lincoln Theater. Tickets are available still, I think. So just go to Lincoln Theater, buy a ticket. And it's going to end before midnight, too. Sometimes it kind of sucks going to shows and they're super late and you want to get home and go to sleep. So if you want it to end kind of early and you're in Mount Vernon, you should go to that. Or if you want to go upriver and check out the Hub has Zach Michaud opening. I believe Zach is playing from 8 to 8:45-ish. And then Jack's band, Narachi, Jack Manley's new band, is going to play from 9 to 10. And then I believe around 10 o'clock, pretty much nothing is going to play for about an hour or so. I could be wrong with all those times. So if you show up and it's not those times, sorry. You gotta, bring the mic closer. There we go. Tell me about your screaming mandrake.
So you pull it out and it screams.
That was our trivia team name the other night at District with Clay. It was packed in there. Olive and I were shoved into a corner behind a foos table. And then at one point I had to run up and get my purse because I was trying to use cash, but they do card only. So I had to run back up to get my purse, and there was these kids playing foosball, and I literally couldn't get to my purse. So I said, "Hey kid, grab me that blue purse right there." Do you want to talk about any of your Christmas gifts, Olive? What are your favorites? You also are really enjoying all the slime you got?
Yes.
What kind of slime? Butter slime?
Cloud.
No. Cloud. What are the types of slime? Butter slime?
Cloud slime. Slime.
There's nothing called slime.
Slime. Slime. Slime. And screaming mandrake slime.
Every time you play with the slime, it makes that noise.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, can we talk about that? Every time I set a couple of my text notifications to make a sound. You know how you can set notifications for when certain people text you, right? The different chimes or whatever. Mm-hmm. Olive sent me a really amazing sound clip. Why did you send that to me? I forget.
It was like we were playing this game where we put emojis and tried to guess what they were. You put like a cow in a crown, and I was like, I don't know what is it, and you were like Dairy Queen, and I was like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, so I'm gonna play it right now.
Oh my god.
Tell me about all the gifts we got for our cat.
So we got our cat this massive thing of bubbles.
Because you saw a TikTok.
You did. And
that
you're
was like
look.
cats enjoying bubbles.
And so she's a feral cat. So she's like, "You want to fight?"
I wish people could see all the motions you're making.
And then
Is that where you got the want to fight thing from? You asked me if I want to fight like every day. Want to fight?
okay, and then my mother here forgot.
Who are you talking to? Oh, the podcast.
I'm pointing at you. She forgot that we got her bubbles, so she buys her 6 packs of bubbles.
I did.
And the Christmas day we opened them, and she booked it. She was like, "Oh hell no!" And
That's what she said in her cat voice.
Oh hell no! No, this is what she said.
Oh my god, this picture is so funny. Oh my god, I'm crying. You have to see this picture.
Okay. I'm going to the bathroom.
All right, guys, enjoy this episode. And as always, enjoy your day, be of use, and go do something hard. Okay, go ahead.
Scooby Magic! Okay. I forgot the first one again.
You're like, skibbity new. You're just making up like new words. Go poop, screaming mandrake, and yada yada.
And go fart on your pillow. And then put your face in it so you don't have to go to school the next day. I have to be of use. Because I am bad dog.
Should we just end on that note?
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
With the Riccolo.
Oh my god.
Howdy, partner. Welcome to one of the most northern parts of the United States of America. Travel with me upriver as we talk to a bunch of ladies and fellers and they share their tales of wit and wisdom. That's right, it's time again for Skagit Storytellers with Liz Rankin.
Baby, cut the
What's up?
lights and lick my booty hole.
Mine's on, yeah.
Check, 1, 2. This is Clay.
Hello, it's me.
Ooh.
God, look at that waveform.
Gang violence. Violence.
Wes is way loud.
Yeah, you got to turn me down. I mean, typical.
Gang
Check.
violence.
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
Oh my God. We should probably check laughs. That's probably what your level at.
Check.
Oh man. Charlie's
I'm gonna
so
peek this
high.
bitch. Is that Charlie?
Damn it, dude.
I guess I'll just have to talk with the mic back here. Maybe does that look better?
Oh yeah.
Oh, way better.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean it's almost. I don't know where you want it.
I'm pretty loud.
Or right about here.
Oh,
Oh.
All right, so you might as well take them that out of the stand, or are you just gonna get real close?
Oh, there you go.
fuck.
Well, see, I worry about like this sound, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's the bad sound.
Charlie looks like he's on a panel now.
This
back
week
at
on
Comic-Con.
Price is Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're all.
Sure.
So you're recording to one audio channel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was just wondering.
Is that wrong?
No, I'm just.
Clay somehow manages to ask every question like a dad, like about to correct you.
No, I'm literally asking to make sure that like I'm keeping my levels at similar levels of everybody else, so that it's not just big blowouts. So we're talking, and then all of a sudden,
Your
Cody.
defense is just further proving Cody's entire point.
Oh, Cody, you're a little loud.
I will wait.
So, ladies and gentlemen, here today on this podcast,
I'll wait. No, you go. You go.
No, I mean it's your intro, right?
No. Oh, right.
You're up
Welcome.
in,
Yeah, the most northern parts of the
God,
country.
That is such a great intro.
It
Every
is.
single time I hear it, I'm like, God damn.
I was literally going to write a song. I heard that and I'm like, nope.
Don't
We
need it.
That's
should.
the intro. That's
We should all do. We should all do.
Skagit Storyteller.
See, now that I know that's there too.
Yeah. Well, the part about
It needs a good R&B.
I think
intro.
it's good, but when I don't like when the other guy comes in and says "fuck" right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
It's the song you just say.
Yeah.
I'm going
said
to keep
fuck?
that in.
You did. You did. Yeah.
Skagit Story.
Fuck.
Sorry, I was trying to harmonize.
Oh, and we talked about this. We talked about this in the car. I don't know how everyone else feels, but like this is your podcast.
Yeah.
And we will go. I am for one of going wherever you want to go.
I was just going to stop you, and then you started. I was like, I'll let Clay say one more thing, and I'm going to cut you guys off. No, it's totally fine. No, so I always like to start my podcast with talking about how we met. And I think I met you. It's hard to point. Wes and Charlie, it's not video, through you. Because I met you first. And then, sorry, Clay.
me.
God, this is so hard.
Yeah.
Clay was like, you need to interview Wes. And then I interviewed Wes. And then Wes was like, you have to interview Charlie. And I said, who's that? Okay. You weren't suggested through any of them. I think I just saw you at Bird's View.
I was suggested
What?
through Wes.
Yeah.
Was it through Wes? Are
It's
you
great
sure?
to know that I mean so much to you.
It's great to know that I'm getting credit.
Are you
for
sure
anything.
it was through Wes?
I'm 110%
I'm
sure.
137.5%.
Oddly specific.
I'm going to go back and listen to original.
Yeah.
Plus, we're all connected through Christ.
Yep, that's true.
Brothers and sisters
That is true.
under his eye.
Absolutely.
We're all descendants.
We're all
of
one in the
Adam and
blood.
Eve.
You're made from Adam's rib.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't
Feel
exist.
to know that you.
I love to use conversation cards because I think it's fun and some really great stories come
We
out of
need
them.
prompts.
So I know. There were so many. There were so many terrible ones. Like, anyway, a lot of conversations that I think they could have gone off the rails. So I carefully sifted through these this morning. I know.
You don't want it to go off the rails?
It's gonna go off the rails anyway.
Yeah.
to be publishable.
Valid point. We do have
Yeah.
to do ghost stories eventually, too.
I
Just
al-
quick ones.
I also met, to finish that, I met Liz through Jack.
And we're not talking about me, remember?
This
kidding.
is all about you.
I thought it was how we know each other.
Yeah, I just wanted to
Sorry.
let you know that we're all here today because we care about you.
Yes.
Is this intervention?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hey, yeah, CJ, get the door.
Yeah.
You're addicted to podcasting.
Yep.
And we thought this is the best way to get
I truly am. This is the final one.
And the final podcast.
You guys are gonna leave and take all my equipment with you.
This is true.
You're like,
the four horsemen of the podcapsulus.
podcast lips.
Castulus.
Podcast ass and lips. Cast and lips. Ass and lips, dude.
Pod ass and lips.
also, the reason why I picked these ones is because I have a good story about all of these, and I like telling stories too. So, ironically, though, the first one was who is the best storyteller you know, and that was kind of hard. I feel like. Because I wanted to talk about myself in that one. No, just kidding. No, but when I saw that, I instantly thought of just like all my podcasts so far. So like, without naming yours or anyone else in this room, who is your favorite storyteller podcast so far?
Shane Gildness, hands down, no competition.
That's what I was thinking. A
Yeah.
lot of people are, well, not just by numbers. I mean, he's double everybody.
I like Charlie's. I like everybody's in here, but yeah, I felt like the old, just hearing about all the old Skagit music was so cool.
That
Yeah.
story about Fanny Alger and Pavlov Jones going in the
To
two
the
different
tour.
bands. Oh man, that's just classic like musician shit that like we've all gone through in some capacity. It's like
Yeah.
So
You
it's
know.
like to Hamilton instead of Montana, but
yeah. Not getting paid by the venue and you're 300 miles away from home and you got to live off of mustard packets to get back. That's some real stuff.
ours
man.
is usually just the rock, paper, scissors over who has to drive home.
Yeah.
Previously, I always drive now. But
I've tried playing rock paper scissors by myself.
Didn't work out.
No.
Clay, what's your favorite? What's your
Well, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed Cody's. No, I mean, outside of this room, like, Cody's is really great because it's weird. Like, you have close relationships with people, and then you just don't know all of these. Like, there's so much stuff you don't know about them. And I felt like with Wes, like, I heard a lot of your stories, and we know, like, from your past and stuff. Like, I had to listen to your podcast to find out that a guy that I work with is like a super close friend of mine used to be a rapper, which was just crazy to hear. And then but outside of this room, like, Lisa Akers' podcast was so fun. She was a wonderful storyteller. Just how joyous everything she says is. Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Well, I can't say I've listened to a ton of them. I did really enjoy Wesley's, just because I love him, and it was very clearly him. He wasn't putting on a front. He was being Wesley. You're Wesley.
Yeah, I was looking at my phone. Thanks, man.
Yeah, but I mean, I've listened to Clay's. I haven't listened to Cody's yet. I know. Yeah. Here, you can have the mic.
I remember being so upset hearing that you didn't talk about music at all, and was just like, what the fuck is he even going to talk about?
It's all food. That whole episode is food.
It was good, though. It was great.
It's a
I thought
great
it was awesome.
And video games. Last night when I was talking to one of your friends, he has the glasses, Eric. He was like, yeah, I loved it. Like, I didn't realize he was so into Myst. And it was really cool because they said, oh, we came here to see Charlie. And I said, hey, did you listen to Charlie's podcast episode? And they go, oh, yeah. I'm like, that's me. And they're like, what? So that was pretty cool, yeah. And then when we were at Farmstrong, I think the trio was playing there. And then I met, is it Tammy and Wes, help me out. Charlie, you know them too. Really lovely couple. Rachel? Yeah. And they said, oh my gosh, we've seen Wes's episode on Spotify. I'm like, how did you find it? Well, you just type his name in and it just comes up. So I didn't know that. So that was pretty cool too. So I love like stumbling upon like people just saying, oh, like someone I don't even know. Not one of my friends saying that they love listening to. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
And just the fact that like you told me, Cody, that you loved Heidi's episode.
Yeah.
And I was like, you listen to Heidi's? You don't even know her.
I listened to
I thought
every
that
episode.
was really cool.
I haven't listened to the most recent one, but yeah, no, it's
Brian's, yeah.
great to because I'm driving a lot. So
Yeah.
It's just great to hear the stories.
Mm.
It's really cool. It's like I was saying, it's like anthropological work. What you're doing, you should really put it into like a museum or something like that, because
It belongs in a museum.
it belongs in a museum. But I mean, it's important stuff. It's
We're here
like
to steal the Declaration of Independence.
well, right. Well, so many people archive and document shit that is just so negative, and this is honestly positive. It's culture,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's archived, it's recorded.
White people with culture. Hell yeah, dude. Sorry, Cody.
Wait, you're
Trashing
white?
everything.
Jesus.
Well, it's an audio podcast, so people don't know.
I would announce how much I agree with you.
Yeah.
If I had a mic, I
give
would have
him a mic.
announced
Give him
how
a
much I would agree with
I was
you.
going to say, I need to get more coffee. Hang on.
Oh,
Wait, actually, before I go,
Just get him over.
I'm going to go downstairs and get more coffee.
There's a
So,
plate of smoked salmon down there that I brought.
oh, I'll bring that up. Yeah. Talk about me while I'm gone, and then I'll discover it when I listen to.
oh.
That's our prompt. I love that.
You
Okay.
can say negative or
Talk
positive. I don't
about
care.
me.
Talk about me as if I'm gone.
She's just like, I love other people so much. Me, 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 me.
Oh, don't worry, I'll cut this all out.
Oh, you're going to cut it out? Sweet.
No, she's not going to cut
Sweet.
anything. We're not going to kill her.
What? What are you talking about,
We
Clay?
can't. We can't get away with it.
Yeah. We're too
That's the
we're too
only
close.
thing keeping us from doing it.
They'd have to find the podcast on the dark web if they wanted the evidence, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The dark web.
Dark web.
Are we supposed to actually talk about her?
That's what it felt like.
That's cool. Yeah, I guess she's training for another marathon.
Yeah. Did you guys? So you all met her through the podcast?
I met her
Yes.
through. Yeah, you're the
Yep.
one. You're the reason that I met her.
The first time I spoke to her was on the podcast. I'd never talked to her before.
Oh.
Or seen her.
I saw her at the liquor store because Jack was in there and I was in town and I had just finished Crypto Cowboy like the first the first demo of it.
Yeah.
And I was just in the area, and I just walked in. I saw him in there. I was like, "Oh, dude, can I play something in the store?" And she was working at the liquor store, and then got introduced. That was the show at the Concrete Theater. It was like him and Miguel and Ada Miller and the Enthusiasts, I believe. It was that one. So yeah, Liz and I met each other that way, and she asked me to do the podcast on top of the liquor store with microphones that were about as far away from our mouths as humanly possible. So it is all room tone.
I remember the audio on that one was impeccable.
Yeah.
As she closes the window.
Well, you got the looking at a condenser mic from down the hall. I was like, I don't know if this is going to sound good. But now here we are. 137,000 episodes under your belt. Millions of subscribers.
Yeah.
I can't believe you had Obama on here.
I know.
You haven't released that one, though, have you?
No, not yet.
Oh, because you're Canadian.
Yeah.
Well, you got a part 2 that
She's
you're
had
working
many
on, and you want
people
to
on there.
plan on the release.
You're really good.
Unfortunately, yes. She's at Obama. He didn't bring his birth certificate. No.
Is that Marlon Brando? What are you doing?
Yeah, it's Island.
It's Marlon Brando Trump.
It's Island of Dr. Moreau. Marlon Brando. It's Marlon Brando with
I
Marlon.
could have been somebody.
Marlon Brando with what's that? Lupus. Marlon Brando with lupus.
Oh my god.
Yeah, deep cut.
Deep cut.
Okay,
Love
so
that
really
movie. Val
quick.
Val
so
Kilmer's
We'll be right
good.
back.
Val Kilmer's killer in that movie.
Yeah.
So good.
last night was the show at Buxton's, which was amazing.
Oh, man.
God, Corey's so good.
Yeah.
I just
Oh, yeah,
keep
of
thinking
course.
about it. He's
Sounded
really
like the
good.
musician that played last night for sure.
You guys know
No, it
you're
was so
amazing.
good. It was so good.
Yeah.
The first time I've seen him live.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
Yeah, the first time you've seen
never
them.
made it. Last time opportunity was the Little Mountain Fest, and we had Sonny with us, and he had that hard 7 p.m. get going home.
Yeah.
So we missed Jazz, but yeah, that was really, really, really special.
He lived up to them shoes.
He did.
Oh,
I'm
those
telling you right
shiny-
now.
Corey's obviously a phenom, but Chuck and Phil
Yeah.
bouncing back and forth with the rhythm section, literally bending time as it existed, was so funny.
It was absolutely
It was so
amazing.
Just staring at each other, like smiling.
Yes.
It was like watching wizards
yeah.
like battle, but like having a happy battle. Like,
Yeah.
check out this lightning bolt.
Mary and I were actually talking
Watch as
about
I
it.
turn it into a circle. Ball of lightning. Now you're like, oh yeah, you like balls of lightning. Like, let me make
Sweet.
it orange. I'm like, happy wizards.
I don't know if you realize, Chuck, but you have different faces for different instruments.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You have the open mouth with the guitar,
And then,
and then you can't see the visual representation, but then you have the bass clenched lip with the with the nod.
also, yeah, he does the like the kind of like that's a good idea head tilt.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. For those at home, it's the ear goes to the shoulder, a little bit of a wink, slight lip bite. Just like, yep. Like you unlocked a safe.
Yep. Like
There it
you
is.
just heard the last tumbler.
A little,
Yep, there we
last
go.
little tumbler.
Yeah.
Oh, we're in. And he turns to the door and goes, "We're in.
We're in.
Absolutely beautiful.
We're in the pocket."
That describes it really well.
It was really good.
But besides that, a couple other favorite moments. You guys played, and I always forget the name of it. You guys played Clay's song really, really well.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Simple
one we
answer.
The track again?
we restarted.
Oh yeah, the jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hit the wrong pedal, and I was like, "Why does this sound like ass?" And then Jeff said something, and I was like, This hasn't happened since sixth grade orchestra, but we're going to stop the song,
Yeah.
and we're going to replay. Also, After Work, both of the low songs, I felt we did really good. I cried
yeah.
on After Work. I haven't cried on that song
Really?
ever.
Like while you were playing?
Yeah, and I
Wow.
was just like, I was like playing it, and then I just started missing Carly and Sonny, and I was like,
Oh, I love that song.
Oh, it's a
Afterward
great
is just
song.
Yeah, that's a good one.
but yeah.
Remind me of the track name again of
Simple
Clay's-
Answer.
Simple Answer. Okay, so after you guys played it, Clay was like, that was the best I've ever heard them play it. And then pretty much immediately after that, like you guys played, Clay's dad almost like ran out to the merch table and he's like, is this the CD with Clay's song on it? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I need this. And he bought it. And it was just really, really sweet. And then
Good.
Clay
I've never
came
given him
over.
one for free.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's
He's got the money. He can-
What's the misconception story that he had with that? Because he thought Front Porch The one that you made the music video for was the one that you wrote initially.
Oh
And
no,
or something.
Losing time,
Losing Sleep.
losing sleep. Sorry, yeah, he thought losing. So I sent it to my dad because I did the album artwork, and then because the track listing doesn't go top to bottom, it goes left, right, then top to bottom. He assumed. He's like, because he calls me. He's like, I listened to that Lazy Acres record, and it's fantastic. And he goes, and my dad being always the way he goes, it's your song is really good. But my favorite song on that record, it's like I don't remember the name of it. It was like, Won't I Know When the Devil Has Won? I was like, Dad, that's that one's
song.
that's my song.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, for real? Because like the other one I thought was yours. I was like, yeah. That's like it was a weird. I had to tell Wes that. I was like, it was very funny.
Well, when you were standing there, I was like, you were holding Shiloh and you were next to him, and I just was like, before I give you your change back, can I please take your picture? Because there's so many times when we just don't do that, and so.
Yeah.
But then I came across this card. What's one of the best memories of your dad? So, I just thought, not just you necessarily, but like just if anyone ever wants to share anything about their dad. Just because my dad's not here, he's in Canada.
No, I got a couple sweet dad stories.
Not everyone has to share.
They're
it's totally
they're a
fine.
little unconventional, but
Oh, Checo.
let's
Because we all know.
Well, let me think for a sec. If you got one on deck, let me think for a second.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were. My dad was always out of all of his odd tendencies. He's always the type of person that runs towards something when something goes wrong, and he lives on a really perilous corner north of Cedar Woolley where a lot of accidents happen. And we were coming home one day, and a car had flipped upside down into the lake, and my old man just straight got out of the car and just dove into the lake and pulled some gal out of the car.
Oh my god!
And that's the one I'm gonna tell. I got a lot of them, but
So how old were you for that? Or?
I was like 15 or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, were you there?
Came home just after it happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, he was trying to drown a woman in the lake.
Yeah. I was the one that.
Of course, he was there.
Yeah, of course I escaped. Yeah, and then he has we've had multiple occasions where he says, "This is it," when something really sketchy is happening. Usually, both times it was cutting firewood. One time he missed the gear coming down the hill, and you have to put it into low gear because your brakes physically can't stop the truck. Doesn't have enough stopping power, and so he missed granny gear when he was going down the hill, and we start picking up speed, and we're hitting this big like hairpin corner, and then he's like, "Oh, this is it, son," and I was like, "What does that mean?" What do you mean this is it? And he's basically like, "Get ready to jump," and so we're like ready to jump out of the car or the truck at like 30 miles an hour, and he managed to hit the brakes enough, and he barely, like, I'm pretty sure like one of the steer tires was like over the edge of the cliff, and he like made the corner. But yeah, those are my dad's stories. Moving on.
Those are good. I'm going to tell a twofer. It's a dad story and a kids these days story. Back when I was in high school, my dad would bring me to blues jams a lot because that was where I didn't really like play in bands. I would just go to those once a week or so and play guitar. And that was where I kind of learned to play. And we would go to one in Snohomish every Monday. So we'd drive an hour, go wait, sometimes not even get to play, but stay until potentially a name got called, sometimes getting home at like 1 a.m, and his ass would get up at 4 to go to work. And he was just like, yeah, this is what we do. And then once I started working, I was like, oh, that's kind of late. I don't think I want to do that anymore because I got to get up at like 8 the next day, you know? And he was like, really? All right.
Oh, man.
So that'll be my dad's story. Him carting me to blues jams for 3 years so I could learn to play guitar.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What about the kids these days?
Just me being
That
a
was
lazy
the-
fuck.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to
Him
do
not
that.
willing to wake up 4 hours later than his dad had to.
Yeah, that my dad already did for years,
Yeah.
even though he got like no benefit from it other than,
And the egg foo young. Don't forget about that one.
oh yeah, this is a good one. Back to the food thing. Me and my dad, we bonded over food when I was a kid because we were emotional eaters, and we would go to Hong Kong and all we would do, there was 2 options on the menu. You got the house special fried rice, which had every meat in it. Shrimp, pork, chicken, the whole
Hell
thing,
yeah.
all of them. Or egg foo young. And no matter what you got a side of sweet and sour. And you would just drench whatever it was in it. So you'd have the egg foo young with the gravy on it already, and then you dump
Chinese
sweet and
food
sour
after this,
sauce.
guys?
Oh dear, yeah, that actually
down.
sounds really good.
And then you'd mix
wait.
it all up and make a little slop out of it.
That's so
and eat
awesome.
it. Yeah.
Charlie's still on mung beans, but
Yeah, I can't eat anything.
Well, also, like, we not all of us have the money to fly to Hong Kong like you and your father do. You thought the same thing? He just said it. He just said it so casually. Cody, before your story, I just want to say that we missed out in saying that your guys' performance last night was fucking incredible.
I didn't
Thank
want to
you.
address it because he kind of did better than everybody. He
Oh
started
my
it
gosh!
off.
Stop. That's not true.
And that was your
Breeze-
first time playing live, like with those two,
Yeah, it was my first
Yeah.
time playing live ever.
with but like with other people, right?
We did 3 hours.
Oh, right. Sorry.
at Station
Yeah, but
49
that was
with
with
Charlie.
Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but that was with Tim, and it was a great time. And Tim and I really needed it because we've been grinding a lot. And it's like, remember what we do it for, and it's like one of those nights where audience is just completely engaged, and at some points, you're just allowed to completely. It's weird playing with a band as opposed to playing with just yourself, because you don't have to command a song as much, so you can lay back and let these guys kind of do their thing, and then when you have that moment, you can go and actually let that moment just soar.
Mhm.
And so it's just really fun to play with the dynamics, and yeah, it's completely different.
Well, I was going to say the dad related, because you started off with Northwest Railroad Line, which is primarily just you singing, and then everyone like comes in.
Yeah.
And as soon as that song was done, the place like erupted. And then my father actually ran out because he was hanging out with some friends, and he found me like in the back. He's like, "I've seen this guy play, but what was that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, get back in there and watch the rest of the show." And so that's, yeah.
Yeah, it was completely different. Yeah.
Without getting all schmaltzy, the your choice to not play guitar in a couple tunes was
The Gentle Breeze.
very mature and the right move. That was
Absolutely, man.
Absolutely right.
Because you are awful at guitar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Well, just I like the.
I know I'm not the strongest. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, actually, technically, strength-wise, you're stronger because you don't use a pick.
Yeah, oh yeah.
All of our hands would bleed if we played like that.
Yeah.
Little pretty fingers over there.
Adding to what, nice pun. Adding to what Chucky said, he said that he can't watch you. He always jerks a little tear when he cries, and or when he listens to you. That's what I meant to say. When he listens to you, he always cries a little bit, and basically it was just like pussy. But I during the Gentle Breeze, I was over there whimpering like a little dog, dude. It was so good. And you put the dog you put the dog down, you put the guitar down, and you were using your hands and you were using your whole body to you were just so serious about the song, and it was awesome. It made the emotion. It encapsulated the whole mood of that song so well. And having just Tim and Tony take the reins on that it added so much to the performance. It was
So
killer.
thanful
and
for
then
those
following
guys.
that with just the shit shows, just the dumpster fire that is Satan lives in Canada.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, man.
Also, the live take's a little slower, which I like too.
Yeah. Well, that live take was a little slower.
Putting down the dogs and jerking little tears.
Yeah.
Send it.
You send it. That's a tune right there.
How many
man.
songs are we writing today? That's my
Yeah,
question.
yeah. 5.
Do you have any dad stories?
Yeah. So, growing up, my child was a little. There was a little turbulence going on, But my dad, he was one of those guys. If something was bothering him a little bit, it just depended on the day and the mood. And so one time, my brother was making a meatloaf, and he shapes it in the form of a cross. And my dad, he's just he's a carpenter man, tradesman, and he sits down and he just looks at it in that matter-of-fact way, and he's just a little confused, and he's like, why'd you shape it in the form of a cross? And my brother's like, well, I was gonna make a swastika, but I didn't have enough meat. And my dad was like, what the hell? And then he just gets up and he's just mad. But no, my dad says all kinds of interesting things. One time we were floating a river up in Idaho called Indian Creek. Yeah, that's a great name for a river, right?
I mean, I've heard worse.
Yeah, but so my cousin, he always like finds these little niche moments that like I'm so used to hearing from my dad because he just says things like this. But my cousin like picks up on him because he's not around him very much. And so my cousin Chris comes up to me and he's like, "Did you hear your dad when he was on the river?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "Well, he's coming around the bend." And he was the last guy around, and he's like, "I'm bringing up the rear." He just announces it to the whole party. And so, yeah.
That's where you get your theatricality from.
Yeah. No, I don't know about that. It's just those little moments that he doesn't even realize that he's brilliant in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
But
the inadvertent comment.
Yeah. And then he's like, "What are you guys all laughing at? Like I'm a joke?" You know. So. But no, those are my favorite dad moments, I think, is like finding those little things you could laugh about.
Is there any other dads that are in the phase of like undercooked meat is like a sin?
Oh, yeah.
My stepdad was like that. I cooked him the most beautiful deer steak one time, and it was just a perfect medium rare. And I knew he was going to say something, but like I was like, I just got to give him the opportunity to really experience. I'm not a food snob or anything, but to really experience the food in its purest form. And he slowly cuts into it. He's just so happy I cooked him dinner, and he just looks at the first piece of meat, and picks his plate up, and just walks over to the George Foreman. I'm like, "What's the problem?" And he just looks at me and goes, "It's fucking raw."
Is that a phase that guys go through?
I think it's all the guys that were raised in the post, like everybody raised, their parents were like products of the Great Depression, so stuff had to last a long time, and stuff. This is my theory. At least I don't know if it's true, but there was just a thing about like you cooked everything full.
Yeah.
You never. It just all the foodborne illness you could get. I don't know. Maybe it's a generation.
It's the taste they got used to, I think. Too.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
And
well done with ketchup.
Can't think of anything specific about my dad I can share without crying. It's funny because I talk about how important this is, like capturing people's stories, and Steve in Concrete, like his amazing stories of Hollywood, and I thought the world needs to hear these, but then it went from like, well, now I have Steve on record with his son Preston, also, and then you hear our reactions to Steve's stories, and Steve's grandson Griff, he's 4, like he's always going to have these recordings, like that's beautiful. And then I was thinking, what about my family? Like I don't have anything like this, so I don't know if my dad will agree to it, but I think it'd be really cool to sit down with him and chat. See if I get the balls to do it, I guess.
Yeah, it's crazy how little, how much of our memories. Well, my dad's a photographer.
Yeah.
But almost never a storyteller. So my. Do you
mind closing that for me?
My mom will tell stories, but just about people that around town. She's like a major gossip. And my dad had buckets and buckets and buckets of photographs from forever. And it's so crazy, how many of our memories live in photos, but then I don't know about you guys, but my parents have never, in 20 years, maybe ever, walked through and been to look at photos of your family when you were younger and explain the context or tell any stories of it.
Without the stories, what's the point of the pictures?
Yeah, it's just that's where we were there, and I don't remember any of that. But it's weird.
Yeah.
You ever go into an antique store and see those old photos and wonder what the context is of them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, those old photos. It's weird. It's just a snapshot into obscurity, right?
I remember a story my dad told me. It was my Uncle Scott that we saw on the way here, just randomly out in his yard. When every time I hear people talk, or my father complains about how kids these days they see violent movies and they're inherently violent, or they're on their phone doing all these things, and so they don't care about other people. And I was always retell him the story. I was yeah, didn't you tell me you were out playing when you were like 8 and your brother was 6, and then you were standing on a stump. So the story is he was standing on a stump, and that was the game. Like, he just had a stump. It was my dad's stump, and he had it. And then my Uncle Scott wanted to get up on the stump, but he was like the younger brother, and my dad said, like, no, this is like mine. And then he was just sitting on the stump playing with like some like cars, and then my Uncle Scott had walked to the shop, grabbed an axe, and hit my father in the back of the head with it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He was 6 years old though, so he couldn't do much, but it was just like his decision, like, because he didn't get to play on the stump. I'm like, yeah, it's phones. Oh, these phones and violent video. It's Grand Theft Auto 5 that made that happen.
Yeah,
Right.
It's just instinctually is like, I'm mad about this.
The rape of Nanking, they were all looking at their smartphones. Yeah.
I was hoping we would not bring up Nanking on this podcast. We've got swastika, we've got Nanking. Where's our bingo?
So
Everyone playing at
Cody's
home.
the wild card today.
Love
I
it.
think about a lot of things. I got a lot of time on the road.
The mind wanders.
I got a question if no one else has anything to say real particular.
Yeah, what's up?
Is there a song or anything like particular that your dad specifically showed any of us musically that influenced us later in life or anything like that?
Lyle Lovett for me. My dad was the biggest Lyle Lovett fan.
Such an odd, like, I love Lyle,
Yeah.
but that is just funny. Like, that is the first person I've ever heard of. That's when you told me that you had me cover one of his songs. Because it was your dad's favorite. Anyway, sorry.
Well, just like no, I mean like because it is kind of in that weird vein of like.
Is he country? What is he?
Yeah.
No, he's
So
one
good.
of the best that's ever done it.
Yeah.
I mean, an amazing guitar player, an amazing songwriter.
Lyricism off the charts.
Just he's. I mean, closest thing I'd call him to would be he's like Isbell is similar.
Yeah.
Similar to Lovett. Way more big band inspiration for
You
Lyle
guys
Lovett.
see Jason Isbell's in that new movie with Scorsese?
Yeah, he doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
But Lyle Lovett was that for me. And then the first music my father and I ever bonded over was the first non-Christian music I was able to buy in my entire life. We were at Fred Meyer, and he's like, "Yeah, go pick out a CD." And I just randomly went through, and it was Dave Matthews Band live at Red Rocks. I liked the picture on it. And I got that, and that was my father and I. Like, that was the first concert he took me to in Vancouver to go see. Was Dave Matthews Band at where the Canucks play? Rogers, at the absolute farthest you could be from the stage. I mean, like, there was janitors closer. there was like vendors that were like way close, and we were just all the way on the back. But yeah, no. So Dave Matthews Band, but Lyle Lovett was the first time I was exposed to really clean, but like studio clean, professionally, like perfectly recorded, every note in the right place, but still felt like it wasn't manufactured, or like it didn't feel fake, or like it felt real and clean at the same time. And that was like, I really got drawn into Lyle Lovett's music. But anybody else? No, just me.
Oh no, I definitely have him. I was just trying to be patient this round. Okay,
Go for it.
I'm gonna go with Stepdad on this one, and it's actually a specific song from a band that my dad showed me. So the band is the Ozark Mountain Daredevils, and we always listen to like Jackie Blue or Standing on a Rock, like their main hits, and then. But my stepdad's favorite song, once he found out that I listened to Ozark Mountain Daredevils, is a song called "It Probably Always Will," and I cover it now. I play it all the time, but it is just like it's so simple. And it's like such an optimistic, happy song, and it's like, dude, it's my stepdad in a song that is so weird. And but yeah,
your stepdad optimistic?
Irrationally. I mean, he'll have times where he's just like every other human, but yeah, like just keep doing what you're doing, keep working.
Liz is your stepdad?
I was just thinking. Clay and I had this conversation again the other day.
But yeah, anyways, he just
Is that the song you played for him when we were up at Lyman that day?
Yep. I've got a mountain of dreams to climb to get to that house on the hill. And then the end of the chorus is
Sing it.
oh no.
Come on,
Wes.
What's
For those that couldn't hear it, Liz yelled out, "Sing it."
Get to the house on the hill that keeps the lady of my morning and a brown earthen pot on the sill of the window. That's what it is. I've got a mountain of dreams to climb to get to that house on the hill that keeps the lady of my morning and a brown earthen pot on the sill of the window that looks out across the valley and probably always will.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's just like, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Dude. And the whole song is just, it's just got a good, simple, like, it's the simplest song ever, but it's just so pure.
What's it called again?
It Probably Always Will by the Ozark Mountain Daredevils. You'd love that recording because it is as real as a recording gets. It sounds like somebody just set up a microphone in a room and recorded a band, and it just sounds so good.
Rad.
How about you, Cody?
My dad, we would always watch a PBS special. Like PBS was always on the TV when I was growing up, and one of the best memories I have is watching that 1980 Central Park concert with Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh,
bro,
phenomenal!
Yeah. And I just remember, my parents loving it so much, and it being like one of the moments where like we weren't fighting in the house, and like just watching that on the TV, and Scarborough Fair, just. That tune came on, and I remember being a kid and just falling in love with folk music for the first time. Is just a song being so simple and like the elements of that song being both diegetic in the way that they're tangible in regard to like the ingredients of a song making up the song in and of itself. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme over and over and over again is just a gorgeous song. Yeah.
I'm glad you added that second sentence on there because I had no idea what you were saying. The first sentence with the two big words.
Scarborough Fair?
No. die of something intangible.
Yeah.
I was like...
Diabetic tangiality.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
I understand diabetes. Let me tell you what.
Yeah. No, meaning that the objects are both, they're both real in the literal sense and in the figurative sense.
That I understand perfectly. Thank you.
Yeah. I love definitions.
Yeah.
I'm just not very smart.
Yeah.
How about you?
My dad's a very casual music dude, so I can't think of like specific songs, but he introduced me pretty much in our house. It was Beatles, Beach Boys, Paul Revere and the Raiders, weird enough, which... And
what was the first one?
Beatles.
I'll have to look that up.
You can use your words.
I'm trying to hand signal something.
I have no idea what this
It's
is.
an audio. We're
Bread.
The band Bread?
Your dad's a huge bread fan.
Is he?
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
No.
I knew that.
Yeah, your dad wanted us to cover either Guitar Man or I'm Gonna Make It With You.
Yeah, your dad loves bread, man. He told me.
Well, he knows the lead singer. The lead singer for Bread lives in Mount Vernon.
I know the lead singer from Bread.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. He's radding.
Yeah. That's why your dad loves him.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk to your father?
All right. Well,
sorry, Chuck. I just assaulted your whole thing.
That's okay. I don't remember Bread in the House.
Paul Revere and the
as a
Raiders
kid at all.
Okay.
And the first time I heard Guitar Man was when I covered it with a band, and I think that was the first time he heard it too. So I don't know how, like, if he's a lifetime fan, but
that's just
Bread's great.
The only band your dad's ever talked with me about. So
that's very funny.
It's a deep cut, Chet deep cut.
But I consider him more responsible for getting me interested in music in general, and like because it was always around, like classic rock radio, 24/7, every time we're in the car, and then in the house, early Beatles. Weirdly enough, well, not weirdly enough, it makes sense for him. You want to hold your hand and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And then Beach Boys was big.
Hell yeah.
But probably my like most vivid memory, that the kind of like probably the turning point, was we had Comcast cable, and they had the music choice channels, like channel 948.
Yeah.
And one day, I think I was scrolling through it, I was probably 10, and they had it was just a compilation of live footage, but it was A Whole Lot of Love, and I'd never heard it before, and it was the full version with the weird drum thing, and that was like the first thing I heard where I was like, I want to hear that again. and again, and I just want to live in this, and I want to know more, I want to hear more, and yeah, that was probably like what legitimately got me into music, was
Crazy.
watching that with him.
Little Zeppelin.
Now you can play circles around Paige.
All right. You say so.
All right, what's the most excruciating pain you've ever experienced? And
Physical.
besides
Physical?
labor, obviously childbirth. Yeah.
Well, that's like comparative to like a mild headache. For me.
Yeah, for men.
My understanding.
Yeah. When I was 17, I had my wisdom teeth removed, and everything was going good, but I started like trying to like flex my jaw, right? Like you're supposed to stretch your jaw after anybody else had their wisdom teeth removed. Yeah.
That's what my story's gonna go.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden my jaw like would not stretch anymore. It would just go back every morning, and I caught a bacterial infection, and my face swelled up to the point where like I looked like Frankenstein. And you go back into the orthodontist room, and like the nurses are freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've never seen this before. And it was just the worst pain, and they were like, we gotta get him in. The doctor was like, we gotta get him in surgery now, or he's gonna suffocate from the swelling pressing up against his windpipe.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so that was And I'm like telling my mom, I'm like, there's something wrong. She's like, no, it's not. You're just being a freaking pussy.
Yeah.
Why don't you just stretch your damn jaw? And yeah.
Oh my God, dude. I gotta get moms are so good.
Yeah. And so, I almost died. So kids, go get your wisdom teeth removed.
yours is wisdom teeth related too.
I had to have dental surgery done, and was done by this really cocky dentist that didn't think that he needed to prescribe antibiotics after performing a major mouth surgery because his work was clean. When you have surgery, typically you get antibiotics afterwards to make sure you don't get an infection. I ended up getting a big infection on the left side of my mouth. Face swelled up like a balloon, and he was out of town, and so on one of the weekends that I was in really rough shape, and so I ended up going to the dentist that referred me to him. And they basically just told me that I was probably just inflation. Is
it the Fed? Yeah.
Yes. That's why I hate big government.
Swell your damn face
So
up.
and it was just inflammation, and so they gave me steroids. And the absolute worst possible thing that you can take when you have an infection is steroids, because those steroids pop that infection, and they're just like feeding it. Yeah.
They almost killed you.
Instead of helping. Yeah. And so then my face, I have a picture of it on my phone, I'll dig it up. It was like that, from my eye socket to my chin was round.
Oh.
And so finally guy comes back into town, we go up there, and I'm like, look at me, and my wife's there, and he says, oh my gosh, and then he's blaming everybody else while they should have never done that. You should have, and I was like, kind of like, well, maybe you should have picked up your phone. But so they ended up he ended up giving me a prescription, a Z-Pack, I think they call it, really high powered antibiotic. And he's like, and I'm going to write you a prescription for antibiotics. And I looked at him and I was like, you're going to write me a prescription for pain pills, a lot of them, because I don't know what to do. So he gives me 2 right there. They have a little pack at the dentist's office. He gives me 2 hydrocodone. Didn't scratch the surface. We get down to Rite Aid, which is from Bellingham. We drove from Bellingham to Cedar Woolley Rite Aid. I'm sitting in the line, and I mean, I'm like a drug addict in the line because my face hurts so bad. Carly walks up to the desk to get me the meds. I like rip the bag out of her hand. I immediately reach in for the hydrocodone. I pop 2 more. I go home, and I'm still feeling it. And so I pop another one. At this point, I've taken 2,500 milligrams of hydrocodone.
Oh my God.
And which I've had recreational.
That's rad, dude.
So
it's rad.
Anyways, I finally, the pain goes away, and I can feel. This is about to get gross. I can feel inside my face that there's a bubble in there.
Oh God.
And so I walk over to my sink. I can't believe I'm talking about this on the podcast. I walk over to my kitchen sink, and I just push my fist up against my face, and I just push as hard as I can.
What the
dude? I could tell that it was gonna go. and it freaking blew up. And out of my mouth came probably like,
Oh my god, dude!
probably a half cup of just straight, like, it was like clearish, like, like, and it luckily,
People are gonna crash their cars listening to this.
completely tasteless, luckily. But yeah, it just expressed all this crap out of it. And so automatically I go from pain level 12 to there's no pressure in my face anymore. Pain level 2, 3 maybe. Yeah. Now the fact that I just taken 2,500 milligrams of hydrocodone hit me. And so Carly goes from, oh my God, my husband's going to die from this pain, to, oh my God, my husband's going to die from an opiate overdose.
Oh, man.
Luckily, I wasn't near overdosing, but I was on the couch and I was just like, Bob, I'm going to be fine. Don't worry about me, babe. I love you. Thanks for taking care of me. I'm going to be good. And yeah, anyways, I rode that out. About 5 hours later, I was cruising. I was fine. And yes, it took about a week and a half for everything to go back down to swelling. After the swelling, his work was so clean, I had to pick 3 bone spurs out of the top of my mouth. And yeah.
Worst pimple popping story I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that was great.
Ugh.
I was worried mine was going to be too gross, but now it's not.
Now fire away. Trust me.
Actually, kind of have 2. Well, worst pain, I had a pimple on my knee from like an ingrown hair. I was like, oh, I'll pop that. And then like 2 days later, my knee started swelling up. Ugh. And then I like couldn't walk. Like I was like limping around, like because it was like my joint hurt. And I was like, this is weird. Like this is making it's just a pimple I popped. And I can't remember the name of the infection, but it was infected.
Staph infection?
No, it wasn't staph. Start with a C. But I like literally couldn't walk, and I just was like, this is the craziest pimple I've ever had. Why does this hurt so bad? It's so weird.
Your legs deteriorating.
And so
these pimples, man.
And so it got so bad. I was still going to work, and I was like limping around work, and my boss was just like, Are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I just like popped this pimple on my knee, and it's just been hurting. And he was like, you need to go to the hospital right now. He said, because I had the same thing happen to my elbow, and that's XYZ, and you need to get that. You need medical help. That's not going to go away. Wow. And I was like, oh. And I went, and sure enough, it was some crazy infection. So that was probably like the actual worst pain. God, actually, I have so many stories that are all coming to me now.
Well, you and I, because the one I was going to start with, you and I have in common, because mine was ingrown toenails.
Yeah, that's
because you don't have any toenails.
Yeah, that was actually the worst pain.
Yeah. Oh my God, mine. It's second for me. Did they ever? Because I was 14 when I got one so bad that I went into the walk-in clinic, or urgent care, as they call it, and the guy noticed that my big toe was like infected, and so his thought was, I don't want to spread the infection, so we're not going to give you any Novocaine.
Huh?
Yeah, because they thought like when he thought if he would be spreading the infection around the toe. I was 15 years old. I was in so much pain, like I couldn't walk. My toe was completely swole. And at 15, I got Civil War treatment. Like literally, my mother was holding a towel down in my mouth, and multiple nurses.
They were cutting your ingrowns out
without any anesthetic.
Yeah.
Oh
and for those people that don't know, it is a straight pair of medical scissors directly down, not just
the
on
side
the
of your
sides.
toenails.
They come in about an eighth of an inch.
A little more than that. With no anesthetic, and so they just cut my flesh, just sitting there hacking away, and then pulling stuff out, and then literally 2 days later, when I almost had a drug overdose. I threw up because I didn't understand like pain pills, and I was home alone. And
me neither, bro.
But yeah, I went and picked that out, and the day after, massive bandage on my foot. My mother, due to her amazing work ethic, sent me out into the spinach fields, because in Skagit County back in the day, we could work in field work. Amazing. And so I was like 14 maybe then. Yeah, so I was like 14 years old, and she shoved my foot into a pair of my dad's boots, still soaked, like still had blood seeping like from the wound, and put it in there and sent me out on a rainy day to do my 7-hour shift. Oh my God. I was paid $2 an hour.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's actually not the worst pain I ever had. The worst pain is the stupidest thing in the world. I did a stupid bet to see whether or not I would drink. I was in a high school play, and there was orange juice on stage for like a prop, and it had been sitting out for like 4 days. And when we came back on the stage, like my guy was like, I'll give you $20 if you like drink that, and I did. And I went home, and so I was like my last year, so I was like 18, and my buddy Tim and I were hanging out, and I got so sick. Like I was standing there saying, and I got like miserably sick. And then it was my first time ever getting like stomach issues. So I was completely dehydrated. I was laying on the floor. It was like a Saturday. I was like laying on the floor of my living room. My parents were like gone. And I had to call my friend Tim, who was in a band with me. I was like, Tim, can you come get me? I have to go to the hospital. Because I stopped being able to move. Like I got like all of my like hands were shaking. I got so like arthritic. Like everything was so tight, and I was just miserable. And then he lived 15 minutes away from me. He showed up an hour later with warm AM PM food wrappers in the passenger seat of his car. Nice. He stopped to get food before taking me to the walk-in, and then they're like, well, we can tell already looking at you're low at fluids, and we can't do that here. You have to go to the emergency room. And I was like, I can't really walk. And they're like, well, we could take you over in a wheelchair. And I was like, how much is that? And they're like, probably $400 to go across the block in a wheelchair. And so I had Tim like carry me. I walked in, and I was so dehydrated that was the problem. And I was so dehydrated, and everything was tight. Like my body was like just
shutting down.
Yeah. And then they were just checking my vitals, so they put a blood pressure cuff on. And I have never felt more pain in my life. Oh. They tightened that up, and my entire body reacted. And I don't know if you've ever felt like there's fire underneath your skin, but like literally, like if you ever burnt like the outside of your fingers, like all of my blood vessels turned into fire. Like I screamed at the top of my lungs, and the lady just like took it off real quick. She's like, "You okay?" I was like, no, that was not good. But yeah, and then they gave me some fluids, and I was fine. So don't do food eating bets. That's all. But yeah, toenails and gut health, man.
Let's do the Billy's challenge right after this.
Oh, dude, I would kill the Billy's challenge.
My brother legitimately believes he can eat it. Like you're so it's crazy.
There's like 5 people.
He might do it just out of principle. Last time somebody bet him he couldn't run 2 miles, and he ran 2 miles in his login gear. And then threw up for like an hour and a half after he did.
We can cut this out, but I got 2 more medical stories that I want to tell because I think they're funny.
I'm gonna cut something else out, like a pee.
Oh, yeah, you already know this one.
I do.
Oh, grab the salmon.
The toenails.
Huh? Grab the salmon while you're at. I forgot.
Oh yeah.
So Cody probably just learned I don't have big toenails. It's probably news to him.
Oh, I've noticed. I just never asked.
Oh, nice.
I didn't want to be rude.
That's smart.
He's chronically uncurious.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, I had really bad ingrown toenail tendencies, and I went to like the normal doctor once, and they were like, okay, we'll cut those out. And I was like, cool. And then a week and a half later, they're back because your toenails just grow back in. It's like, okay. So then my mom took me to see a podiatrist, and he was like, well, we can remove them completely and see how they grow back, or we can remove them and kill the root and they'll never grow back. And I was like, well, I would prefer to have toenails, so let's do option 1. And I did option 1, and they ingrew both of them completely across the entire front of each of my toes.
Oh.
And I was working still, and so I couldn't put shoes on. I had to wear sandals. And I was at the music store working, and where we kept the cases for guitars was like industrial shelves. And so we had them stacked vertically, and there was bottom row, top row. And I was getting a case off the top row, and I dropped it, and it landed right on my toe and crushed it into the further into the front of my toe. And I
by your own bones.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And I just I was up in the case, and I just screamed because it was And then I went, and because my boss's office was off of the case room, and I was just like, I need to go home. My socks are bloody. He was like, okay. And that was a rough one.
Carly, when Sunny was brand new, Carly had a C-section as well. And God, I hope she is okay with me telling that. Anyways, so she had the stitches.
What? Gross.
I was playing video games. I was playing Call of Duty, and so I had a headset on. And all of a sudden I see Carly's calling me, and I'm like, we live in like a studio apartment. Well, kind of like a 1-bedroom, but anyways, I'm like, Carly's calling me.
the call is coming from inside.
Yeah. And so I like take my headphones on. I'm like, babe. And she's like, I've been here calling for you for like 10 minutes. Sunny's crying. She's stuck because she got rolled over weird, and she literally doesn't have abdominal muscles right now.
Yeah.
Because when you get super pregnant, your abs split, and like so she had no like abdominal muscles to move her. Anyways, that was the last time I played Call of Duty. I won't put a video game headset on ever again.
Nice.
It's like worst father of the year 3 days into fatherhood.
Did you say that you had another excruciating pain story?
Yeah, it's very gross. It's not as gross as Wesley's, but it's pretty
I was
bad.
gonna say I can't.
I have more gross ones too.
You've
I
already.
want to go down that road.
I don't want to hear it.
You don't?
I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
So go ahead.
I
So
will
go
say,
ahead.
though- are you still gonna do it?
No, don't.
I don't want to, but
Yeah.
I do want to.
Sure. Just, yeah. Let's hear it. Let's
Screw
hear
you.
it.
Do it.
Screw you,
Does
Clay.
it have to do with an abscess or something?
Yeah, it does actually.
I'm gonna go.
I was gonna say go to the bathroom. Go stretch.
I'll wait till you're out.
We'll walk off
I'll
that.
tell
salmon.
Joseph not to listen to this. He couldn't make it through any of these stories.
Really?
Oh, he'd be driving like.
So when I was younger, I had I was probably 22, I'm gonna guess. I had a cyst at like the top of my butt crack on one side.
Oh, weird.
So I
growing
got
a tail.
I got
Show me where. Show me where.
yes, it's right. Well, I didn't have it yet. I actually got the tramp stamp in honor of the cyst.
Those of you that don't know,
Cyst
Charlie,
was
Charlie has daddy across his lower back.
Yes, and it had come out like a string. Like it was just like this floating thing, and I just passed out and slammed into the toilet.
Oh.
Yeah. Head first into the back of the toilet, just hit the floor.
And that's when you had the idea for the flux capacitor.
That's awesome.
So that's the grossest one. Not the most painful, but the grossest.
I really
for sure.
like Easy Cheese. With,
Yeah.
With the chicken and biscuit crackers.
Like imagine that, but gray.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Yeah. Yeah. I'm the moral opposite. Like I can't get grossed out. It's like trying to like make me uncomfortable in like a conversation. It's just I don't get grossed out. For something.
You can't get uncomfortable in a conversation
Unless we start talking about like our feelings. And
I was
stuff.
gonna say.
like,
You're a really good musician, and I like the songs that you write.
Fucking shut up.
Look how uncomfortable.
It's not fun. Let's go.